This is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright lights, city lights, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast, the greatest power podcast in this or any other multiverse. Jeff J is on this side, Krissy Bree is on that side. We are here to bring you the season 1 finale of Power Book 2 Ghost. Season 1, episode 10, Heart of Darkness. Krissy, what's going on?
Boy, what's up? We got a lot to talk about today. I am fired up. I'm ready. I'm literally like, I got adrenaline pumping just thinking about it.
You and me both. And the amount of text that I got, not just from Krissy and tweets and everyone else, people talking about this episode, it's been fire. It's been on fire, and we definitely got a lot to hammer out. So we're going to get right into it. Before that, as always, you can find this podcast on @Power After Hours on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can listen to Power After Hours, and on YouTube where you're watching it right now, Power After Hours. So do all of that, and if you ever have an email, questions, comments, concerns, slander, and all of the above, powerafterhourspod@gmail.com. This episode, listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give my impression, my overall impression after I watched. I haven't wanted to rewatch an episode of Power that eager. There's probably 2 other episodes that really made me want to immediately go rewatch. It was, I want to believe, the season 2 finale of Power when Ghost was killing everybody and had his whole plan. And the Tommy single episode from season 6. Yeah. Those 2 episodes made me want to do a rewatch. But this episode,
my God,
man, this was good. This, to me, it's one of the best Power episodes I've ever seen.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, so much happens, but it's like, when I saw the credits roll, I actually got upset because I was like, no, I want more. Like, it was so good. Like, they left no crumbs on the table. Like, it was so perfectly executed, written, directed, produced. Bruh, I mean, from start to finish, this season has been impeccable. Mm-hmm. But this finale was everything you would want when you're watching a show. Like, if this is even how it ended, say something happens and this is how it ends, I am one satisfied person. Like, it was just that good. Like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It felt like they wrote this season and this episode with a sense of urgency. I can think about other shows that didn't know whether or not they were getting a season 2. So they wrote the episode as if it ties the story together and you can be good with one season. Yep. But if they come back for a season 2, a season 3, etc., they will have a foundation to build. And this episode tied all the storylines together well. And it was an hour and 9 minutes. That was the runtime of the episode. Didn't feel like that at all. Even when they got to the end, I was caught up. I said, whoa. Not even so much upset, but I was like, oh, it's over. We need more. Make this 90 minutes. I need a whole movie. I
even waited through the credits, which is something I never do, because I usually will fast forward to the preview. But I waited through the credits like it was some Marvel movie and I was going to get an extended, edited, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted something else. Like, I am floored by how good it was. Like, I have nothing bad to say, which is very rare. Y'all know me because y'all come through with that slander with the quickness, saying I always got something to say. I have nothing to say. It was just that good.
Yeah, we could go through it. Like, let's just go through it. And one of the things I appreciated about this episode, it was linear in the way that they told the story. Because a lot of times with Power and a lot of shows, they'll hop back and forth, forwards and backwards in order to bring the story together. But it coalesced in a way where all the scenes lined up so that it was a linear story, and it was everything that was referenced prior got taken care of in the next scene, or was alluded to where it was connected. Like, well directed, well shot, and edit wise, it was blended together to where it felt seamless. There weren't as many jarring transitions, if anything, and it felt like resolution after resolution after resolution of outstanding items that were going on the episode. Starting off with Monet meeting up with Rico, who just put a hit on her the prior week to I guess make business amends of sorts, get some more product, and make it happen.
First of all, Jackie Long stays with a job.
Yes. Yes.
He had about maybe 3 minutes worth of scene, and Buddy stays with a job. Kudos to whoever his agent is. But yeah, that alone, my mouth was open. I think my mouth might have been open maybe 95% of this episode. But to start off at the very beginning, I was just like, Monet is that bitch. Like, you can say what you want to say about Monet this season and how she's handled, her kids, because we discussed that previously, how she's handling the business with her husband being in jail. But this really set Monet up to be that queen pin that they were trying to make Tasha out to be this whole series. Like, Monet runs her business the way she wants to, no matter who's trying to step in. And that even includes her husband. We got that scene in this episode where they're going at it about how it should be, how Kane became who he was, how she made him that way. And I gotta say, Monet, usually you would send Kane to do those things, and I didn't think she had the balls to necessarily handle Rico the way she did, but she executed that plan flawlessly and shut him down. Right. Like, I'm still in shock that she was able to do that, but now, they've got even more issues from that happening too. Like, there's still so much to build on in the next season based off of that one action that she took in taking Rico out.
Right. And so she takes Rico out for putting a hit on her family, shooting attempting to kill her, shooting Drew. And she had everything set up to where it wouldn't blow back on the family, and Ramirez was the final piece. Only problem, Kane kills Ramirez. And I think one thing that this series so far has done is articulated how Kane's impulsive nature always blows back on him, and you get to a point where things are good, things can be resolved, things can be healed, but he burns bridge after bridge after bridge. There was still an outside chance that he could have come back into the family, because Lorenzo and Monet were having that conversation where Lorenzo told her, yo, you need an enforcer. You need to lay down force. You got to get an enforcer. Kane has to come back in the family. And she's like, yo, I don't need Kane. I need Ramirez, which also triggered Lorenzo, because he's like,
Lorenzo was like, you asked me about that motherfucker one more time.
Right.
We gonna have a problem.
Right.
Stop bringing up his name in my She did it one too many times. That's all I'm gonna say. One too many times.
Yeah,
Lorenzo's
sleeping in my bed sense was tickling because he had a feeling.
I don't think Monet had anything necessarily I don't think there was really romance there. I think it was more so of a business type of relationship where, your husband's in jail, you got to get it from somewhere. So why not do it with the person who knows what you do and you don't have to lie to him about it? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it does, Kane's just impulsive nature. I used to say he reminded me of Tommy in a way, but I actually think Kane might be a little worse. Because he doesn't, Tommy, you could in a way talk to him. Eventually he would fall, and it usually was when he was not strung out on whatever drug he was doing at the time.
Right.
But it seems like Kane is so far gone because all he can think about is Tariq. He's so one-track minded and he can't branch out, despite what Dee has said, his mom has said, Drew has said, even the cop everyone has tried to tell him, you are going after the wrong things. But Kane just couldn't get it through his thick skull that maybe you're going after the wrong person, and you need to be the man that your mom needs you to be, but he can't even do that. Right. Like, he's so he's so childish in that way. And it's frustrating to watch.
And this is where Monet knows Kane better than Lorenzo, because she sees that he's a hothead. She sees that he doesn't think things through. He'll act before, he's like, think once, act once. He doesn't think and continue to calculate a situation. His first calculation is what he goes with. And that's even what Drew was saying when he more or less confessed to Drew that he killed Ramirez. It's like, yo, you dumber than I thought. It's like, oh, it's like that. He's focusing on Drew calling him dumb and not the results, the consequences of his actions. Like, fam, you killed our inside man in the NYPD. The reason why you're not in jail now. He saved your ass. He saved our asses. He's covered everything up. He's on our payroll. Why would you do this? Because Kane is hurt. Kane is hurt because he feels like he's not getting the position in the family or the love.
The respect,
and that's why he keeps saying, and the trust. Yeah. That's why he keeps saying, you made me this way. You did this. Why you keep focusing on Tariq when everybody's telling him, get Tariq. You have a Tariq complex.
You have a Tariq conflict. Get it out of your. But I do love how they made it a point in this episode to show how he was made that way. You know, you heard Tasha say it to Monet when they met. How do you think he became that way? And then when Monet approaches Kane in his room, she's like, well, maybe I did make you this way. Like, I love how they kept bringing that up to show that, yes, Kane may be this person, but they made him into this person through what they had him doing from God knows when.
Right.
So it does suck. I think that Kane can change? Absolutely. But I also don't think that part of him that is so reactive will ever fully go away. He's always going to be the one to make that mistake. And it's going to have to be someone like Tariq who comes in and cleans it up.
Right. And I think that's his insecurity that he's going to have to cure in order to be able to be stable within the family. But you brought it up, and we're going to talk about how he may have an in back into the family later on as the episode goes along. But I love how Tasha has become this cautionary tale for a lot of the new characters in the show on how not to move a certain way because of what I went through.
Yep.
Right? So she's talking to Monet, and they both have to reckon with their decisions as mothers. They have to reckon with that. And Tasha she tells her straight up, like when she's trying to buy Tariq out of the business, she lets her know, I can't go through this anymore. He needs to be out. We got to live a different life. And Monet tells her straight up, Your son found me. Your son found me. He's his man. He can make his own decisions. And my husband's not going to go for it anyway. And that's where Tasha brings in the whole fact of, I didn't ask him. I asked you. And I followed a man who was the man in the relationship, who was the head of the household, who led the organization. I lived in his shadow. I followed his decisions. And what did the decision get me? It got me in jail daughter. And a dead daughter, right? And a son who was on the brink of death and caught up in a game we didn't want him into. Straight up.
Woo! There was a lot of aligning parts to that conversation, because then you see the man that Tariq became due to his parents' actions too. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. The little things that our parents do that send us down certain avenues and lanes in life. And no matter how much Tasha tried to, keep her kids on the straight and narrow, there's only so much that you could do when so many lies were told to a kid who really just wanted to know the truth, but nobody would tell him. So he went out on his own to find that truth, and look where it got him. Do I think Tariq is, like we discussed last week, a monster? No, I just think he's a product of what he was brought up in. They made him that way. So I love that through every episode, they gave us different scenarios through the books, and every single book came into play in this episode. Mm-hmm. So, when you talk about Tasha, how she had to play the system in order to be able to, be free or be with her family. I love that she went and had the conversation with Monet, But at the same time, it's like your son is a man. Just like Monet said, he 18. He can make his own decisions. He don't need you, doing this for him anymore. And so it was good to see that Tasha still loves her kids, but it was also good to see that she realizes who they are.
Right. And even when they were talking about the men, they made each other's sons, right? It's like, yo, he sought me out. He had me change my whole operation. I took my product off the street and now we're moving it through him. I can't give that up. That's who you made him. And Tasha retorts, and your son tried to kill my son and went behind your back. You made him that way too. So these are the decisions as parents that they have to live with. And what Tasha's trying to tell her is it's not too late. It's not too late to make a change. It's not too late to reverse course on some of the things that you may feel is right. But you need to do that before you end up like me. You need to do that before you have to bury children, before it blows back on you. You already got a husband in jail. You already got, a kid shot up. Yeah. So what's next? And your bar gets shot up every week.
She's not ready. She's not there yet. I think Monet is deeper into it than Tasha ever was because she has had to take over the organization, so to speak.
Right. She
Tasha
had more control.
She never had that. So I think Monet's position is way different. And it's a lot easier for now, Tasha, to say that, you can walk away. But she's not in as deep as Monet is. Like, Monet can't just walk away right now. There's no way that could happen. Like, none.
Right. Literally, because she's running the whole business.
Yeah, she can't walk away. She'll be dead before she hits. You know what I mean? Like, she can't do that.
Right. Exactly. So let's go to Tariq taking the stand.
Ooh, that was the best scene ever.
Listen, we were debating last week what he would actually do. Is he gonna give himself up? Is he going to blow Sack's stuff, blow everybody up? Or what the hell is going to happen? It was definitely fuck they shit up because I had a feeling once Tamika was his lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
And Tamika knew everything about Sax and everything going on and knew the situation. She had the plan and had the advice for him to detonate this entire case. And I think he did it masterfully.
It was perfect. Like, Tamika, but first of all, is like really the first person to know the truth from Tariq's mouth. Like, she asked him straight up, did you kill your father? And he knew he had to tell her that. There was no way around it. So her knowing all of this information and still wanting to work with him despite that tells you how fucked up that office was. Like, it was more about taking down Sax than anything else. And probably my favorite part of that scene is when Sax looks back and sees her and she's like, The typical Black woman roll of the neck. Like, I just love Tamika. And I hope, like I keep saying, please don't let her go because she's my favorite. But yeah, I was so happy to see him take Sax down. And I thought for a minute, he put the little bug out there, but then he kept going with it. Every time Sax would ask him a question, he would be like, nah, but I saw you there with a gun. What were you doing there?
Right.
And you could see the face of every person there, like just kind of trying to take it in, but the judge has had a fuck enough.
Right.
Like, the judge was just tired of these. She made it clean. She couldn't stand Sax. Like, she just was fed up. And the person who I believe really, like, it's Ott. Like, Ott was sitting there like, yo, you got to be kidding me. Like, I asked you straight up. All you had to do was put Tasha in jail, but you couldn't even do that.
Right.
Like, Sax is so dumb in that way. Like, he really could have just done what he was supposed to do, and it would have been, you would have had your job. You would have been the man of the hour. But no, you want to send your niece out there undercover. You know what I mean? You got her drugging the person, which I love that you brought that up. So many things that he did wrong. And it's like, for what? Like, because in the end, you still lose.
Yeah.
He still lost. Well, did he?
Well,
I don't know.
Shane told us that Sax is one-track minded and he already knows that the game is rigged. That they're playing this game and they're playing with a whole other set of rules. So he's going to do what he has to do. And he just can't resist going that extra step to guarantee a victory, right? Yeah. But ironically, in this case, had he just went straight and narrow, he would have probably had a better chance. Yeah. But I saw Tariq bringing up that the end of power, where he saw Saxe in there. He saw Saxe there the night Ghost died, right? Or the night he killed Ghost, let's keep it real. Mm-hmm. But reversing the video evidence of him confessing to the murder by saying, I went to my father's grave after my birthday and I was drugged. I don't remember anything or how I got there, but you knew I was going to be there. How did you know? Who did you have working with you? Who did you have working with you in official capacity? Who did you have that drugged me so that I would go and do that? And the whole time he's trying to dance around it. And you know, he's like, Judge, can you answer my questions? And he's like, yo, you can answer the question. And he just kept going back to it. And he's like, yo, all I know, I didn't. And I say sidebar, I love what they've been doing with the flashbacks. Yeah. And I saw Courtney Kemp on an IG Live and she was answering a bunch of power questions. And she said that she didn't really want to do a lot of flashbacks per se, but the way in which they do it was important. And just, for example, how he asked Tariq, was Tasha there the night of the murder? Yeah. And was he in truth after that time? And he's thinking back to what happened post Ghost getting shot. And he's like, I'm going to take care of you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nope. And says the whole, brings it back with the whole drugging me thing. And then tells the judge, I can tell you how many people are involved and how many people knew about it since the beginning of the trial, which throws this whole thing out of air. And you brought up Ott. I don't know if this dude is the hand that rocks the cradle. I don't know if he's a kingmaker or like mafia.
They got it
or
like
something.
That in the DNC.
I don't know how fictional or not that is, that one man would have that power to make a judge leave, I guess a Democratic judge, leave the chambers while he cut a plan.
The Ithaca.
Yo, he was like, yo, if you want to get kicked up state, literally, you get the fuck out. But I was done. I loved how Ott was so fed up. He was fed up with everybody.
He was done. He was sick of all of them.
We needed this. We needed this organization pinned on someone other than James. All you have to do is do this. You got outsmarted by a kid. And he's like, in McLean, you're
not a kid.
Nah, he said it. You get into it later. Get into it.
He said, shut up, Cooper. You got outsmarted by Jason Derulo over there. When he said that, I threw my phone across the room. I said, not Jason Derulo. And then for the whole episode, all I kept seeing every time they showed Tariq was Jason Derulo. Like, it messed up my head the whole episode. I came through with a bunch of heavy hitters. He was like, you had the ball. All you had to do was just knock it out the park. He was fed up with all of them. And rightfully so. Like, he literally gave him the job on a platter and leave it up to Saxe to fuck it up. Like, It's just...
And he had smoke for McLean too, but it was lesser so. He can't really say anything because McLean was going to do whatever to get his client off. So McLean flipped it on him.
He took his words as a positive enforcement. He was like, "Oh, thank you," because I think he said he was like a.
He zealously defended his client. That's what he said.
Yeah,
he zealously defended his client.
He called him a name too. He's something about a piece of shit. But
he said an unethical piece of shit. That's what he called him.
When he said it, he was like, oh, okay, well, like, thank you. You know what I mean?
Right. He's like, but I'm also an unethical piece of shit that now you need in order for this to go quietly. Like, what can you do for us?
The question I have, do you think Tariq brought that tape up so that it can never be used again? I think a part of me feels like Tamika told him everything he had to say so that it could never be used against him in the future. You know what I mean? Like, this deal that they made with Ott pretty much sealed everything. Like, they can never talk about it. Nothing can be done as long as Tasha has to spill and say everything was Tommy's.
Right.
So
I got breaking news.
What?
Jason Derulo has fallen down the stairs after cutting a deal for Tasha.
I'm done. I'm done. I am done. I was like, what?
Yo,
What happened?
that's all I could think about with the Jason Derulo line was the picture of him falling down the stairs. And it's just saying, like, yo.
Jason Derulo is a hot ass mess. Whoever wrote that line, kudos to you too, because Jason Derulo is a fucking crazy person. But
yo, calling Tariq Jason Derulo, at first I didn't know if he was calling meth or Tariq Jason Derulo, but he said you got out. But I know he said outsmarted by the kid. He said you got outsmarted by Jason Derulo. So yeah, so the plan is, well, the deal is, Tasha gets off. Tasha goes into WITSEC after confessing that Tommy Egan is the real leader of that criminal empire and giving up all known associates, and they're able to, and Saxe has to resign.
Yeah.
So,
thank God.
Which McLean, it was a win-win for him.
Yeah, he wins. Either way, he wins. He
won all the way. He got his client free. And really the only L that he took was that he lost his side piece.
That's really it. And I don't think we've seen the end of her either, but that's essentially all he lost. But the gall of him to try to get Tasha to read some speech after she gets out, I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Like, you really went behind her back to get her son put in jail, and you think I'm about to praise you on national TV? Get the fuck
part of the plan. It's part of the plan, and he like, damn sure got it.
And I love that she didn't say it. I was like, thank you. Don't even read that shit. Like, he's so far gone that I don't even think he cares how unethical he is, which is why it makes sense that him and Cooper would align. They both are pieces of shit, essentially. They're not good people.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He won. He got hired to win, and he won by any means necessary. So you can be mad, but you're free. Yeah, you might have had to go into WITSEC and snitch on one of your lifelong friends, but you didn't want to stay in jail.
Yep.
So now you're free, right? So that's why he don't really care about that. And in fact, he's looking to expand his empire because on Saxe's last day, he's offering Saxe a job, which I thought was genius.
It's so smart because as dirty as Saxe is, that's essentially who McLean is. Like, you're going to have him working these cases that you also work. He knows all the dirt of the people that they're going to be going up against. It's only the right thing to bring someone in like that can win cases for your firm. Like, now that we get to see Cooper on the stand on the opposite, like, you know, as the lawyer on the other side, I think it's actually going to be fun to watch. Like, I would be interested in a Law and Order type show with McLean and Cooper. I would watch that shit every day of the week because they crazy. Both of them.
Book
Both
six. Book
Law and
six
Order.
trial.
Bring that shit on. Bring it on. I'll watch it. I will watch it.
I hear you. But you know what? I think for Saxe, this is probably a win-win also. You don't got to deal with that U.S. Attorney's Office, which has been the biggest bad luck charm in that show's history. People either end up dead in jail or unemployed. Few people have bounced back from it, and he gets to work privately, and the number that McLean put on that card was enough for him to spark his interest, right? So he's getting out of it, won't feel, or as of now, won't feel any repercussions from all the stuff that he did. Everything gets sealed, and they go in and go on their way, right? So I it's going to be interesting to see where that storyline goes going forward. And the other thing is they were still looking up that case, with Bars, who got killed up at Stansfield, right?
Yeah.
And we saw where that whole situation went, where Carrie let it be known that Zeke got into an altercation with gang members. Everett comes in and more or less gives up Drew. And this is their private hearings that they're having with the kids.
Yeah.
So this actually gave Jabari the last piece of the puzzle that he needed to connect Tariq with Drew, and which I didn't really see, but it was pretty ingenious on Jabari's part, to use that as leverage to call Tariq in and say, hey, I know you know Drew. I know you've been selling. I know you're involved. I can help you I can make this all go away. I just want to have you be the focus of my next book, which he started writing already. And he already started writing about Tariq. So he is asking his permission to bite off of his life.
Which was the dumbest thing he could have ever done. And there were so many times I was like, this nigga is lost. Like, he has no idea what he's getting himself into because he thinks Tariq is a kid. Right. And that was his biggest mistake, was thinking that Tariq was just some kid who just happenstanced into this situation. It's just dumb from start to finish. Like, I kept listening to everything he was saying. Was it an ingenious plan? Yes. Writing the book was smart, but no part of that was going to be allowed. How many times have we seen where people want to, back in the day when they wanted James to be on TV and Tommy would tell him, no, you're exposing the business. Like, even if he said, this is a book about you, but no one will ever know it's about you, people would know. No one's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, everyone knows who his dad was. Everyone knows his mom went to jail. Like, they would know. So I found it's almost like the way the show ended, he left a lot of cookie crumbs that will be picked up by somebody, but enough to the point where when he met with Tariq, we know that the cop was there and saw Tariq leave. So that's also going to come into play at some point. But his whole plan was flawed. Like, he really thought he could trust Tariq, and that was dumb. But
right. Well, he didn't know, because like you said, he thought he was just a kid. And he thought, hey,
y'all did.
I know, right. He's like, yo, I'll give you some of my advance. I'll cut you in on my advance. I'll make all of this go away. I just need you as a character in the book. You know, hit me up and let me know. Right. Once again, it would have been smart any other situation, not when you're dealing with Tariq. Not when you're dealing with that world. And
I didn't know how Tariq was going to spin it, though. That's really what surprised me. I did not know how Tariq was going to handle it, because even like I'm saying, Jabari looked at him as a kid. Honestly, so did I. I wasn't exactly sure, because I remember the episode when his mom told him to go and take out who was it? The Epiphany. Yeah. And his reserve, like, he wasn't sure what he should do. And when he dealt with Tamika, when he was in her home, like, there were so many other little things where Tariq has been so not trigger happy, where he's been scared of taking that next step. So I didn't know how he was going to spin it. And Tariq ain't a kid no more.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing that Jabari didn't realize about Tariq, was how deep this criminal life was gone. It wasn't just selling some drugs up at school because you needed to fund your mom's lawyer. It's deeper ties, real deep ties. And ironically enough, one character's appearance ultimately led to Jabari's death. And that was probably the best surprise, by far, the best surprise of this whole series, was Tommy coming back.
Kudos to you, Jeff.
Why do I get kudos?
Well, remember, Jeff called it like a few episodes back, where you said that Jabari was going to be the one to get got because he was doing too much. You called that. You said it. So,
well, you know, remember, I'm operating under the power rules, right? That we were told, when a character learns too much, they're already in line. When they cross that line, that means that their time is almost up. But what I didn't think,
in public, like, there's no way that was going to be okay with Tariq. I just didn't know he was going to do it like that.
Exactly. But and get into Tariq Body and Jabari, right? How we got there was Tommy tried to kill Tasha at Monet's bar, which is, once again, the worst secured bar in the history of television, right?
Like, your shit got shot up and you just gonna
I don't know. I mean, they put metal bars on. I guess they upgraded the security, but I don't know. Maybe they should have put a turret in the front or something. I don't know.
I mean,
but
first of all, don't just skate by and say Tommy shot. First of all, y'all, Tommy Egan back. Like, let's not act like Tommy's not back.
I just said the best surprise was Tommy.
So casually, like
I said the best surprise in the series. The best surprise of the series.
The bar. Tommy shot up the bar. No,
okay,
Tommy
go ahead, Cook.
Went back. When y'all saw that blue car, please tell me you blew up just like I did, because I was lit as hell. I was like, yeah, finally we get Tommy. They have had his name. If you don't put that damn cup down, everyone has had Tommy's name in their mouth all season long, and he finally came back to settle the score. The shit was ingenious.
I was hyped. When I saw the car, I rewound it a little bit, like, whoa. I said, nah, they don't. I was thinking to myself, yo, they're gonna, this is a red herring. That's not his car. It's gonna be someone else's. It's gonna be some next Latino person that we haven't seen yet that they want to come and kill or something like that. But no, it was him. It was him. And, you know, we kind of were thinking about it, whether or not he could make an appearance at some point, and people had asked, like, would the old characters keep making appearances? Is there a chance? Someone had asked, is there a chance that Tommy would appear in Ghost? And it's like, oh, maybe it could. It's always a possibility. And he shows up.
We talked about it last week, we weren't sure where his show aligned with this one.
Right. And now we got the answer. We got the answer because he shows up. He shows up this week. And Tommy is like Powers Candyman. You say his name in a court 3 times and he pops up to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this dude shows up. My man Tommy shows up immediately. He left blazing hot. Everybody looking for him. Comes back to shoot up a bar and is on site for Tasha. And I think one big thing with Tommy was that conversation that he had with Tariq, right?
Yes.
That conversation with Tariq.
Uncle no more.
Right.
Don't.
Fed up, but cut off.
The line of the night for Tommy was when he said, I want all the smoke. I think if you're a Power fan, hearing Tommy say that line, that shit brought you back. Like, I love Tommy. Joseph Sikora is so good at playing his goddamn character. Like, when he said, I want all the smoke, it literally brought me back to early Power. So, like I said, I don't know if the writers try to align the stories like the way it's in my mind, but that was such a perfect line for Tommy to say in that moment. Like, I'm not your uncle no more, one, and I want all the smoke. Bring that shit on, because at the end of the day, your mom got my name in her mouth. And I got to put a stop to it for Lakeisha. Lakeisha.
Right. And let's not forget, Tariq killed his best friend.
Yep.
And the only reason why Tariq ain't dead is because Ghost on his deathbed said, don't hurt him. Let him go. Let him go, Tommy. Let him go. On his deathbed. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why he's not dead right now. And he tells him, yo, she broke the code of the street. She pinning the org on me and his death when we all know who did it. And that was the main thing. Because he already was fed up with Tariq's shit before the death. When he hung him over the railing or off the building because he was getting too deep in with the drugs and all of that with his business.
Product.
Right. All of that. So you know, I love that dialogue with them where he's trying to tell him Tariq tells him, you can't go after my mom. That's all I have. And he's like, well, whose fault is that? You did this. And he keeps reminding him. You
killed your dad.
Right.
Nobody else did that shit. You did that shit. Let that be known. And that is right. I love that line. Like, whose fault is that? Like, the fact that you only have your mom, like, if you really want to get down to it, Raina's gone because of you. Mm-hmm. Your dad is gone because of you. Mm-hmm. You are lonely because of your decisions. Like, don't put that on anybody else. And as bad as Tommy is, and as much of a killer as Tommy is, like, the fact that he just said that to Tariq, I think that is what made it click for Tariq. Like, wait a minute, I am a killer. Like, hold the fuck up. I do kill people.
Right.
So I love that he keeps it. If anybody's going to keep it 100 with Tariq, it's going to be Uncle Tommy. But unfortunately, their relationship is not what it was and probably never will go back to being.
Nah, and I love how they brought Cash back, and that's one of the reasons why he was there to go. And he even, when Tariq has that conversation, I think that conversation with Tasha, when Tasha went to his dorm and said, "Yo, we got a book now," because she was never really trying to rat on Tommy.
No,
she was
not.
gonna leave and go into hiding so that they would be good and take her family with her. But when she tells him, "We gotta go now, Tommy's back, he's trying to kill us," and Tariq says, "Yo, we got no money. Where are we gonna go? Where's Yaz? You know, like all of this. What are we gonna do?" She's like, "I'll figure it out later." So this is where Tariq, to me, became a man at the beginning of the season. This episode is when he became the man.
The man.
And this is when he finally stepped into who he was completely. No wavering back and forth. No what if. I got a plan, Mom. I got a plan. Trust me. And she goes, "Yo, Tommy's a fucking killer." Well, so am I.
So am I.
So am I.
Can we please stop skating around the fact that Tariq can kill people? Like, no,
Tariq is a killer. Tariq is a killer. And as I said, I think I was having some conversation with people on our Power After Hours Twitter on this.
Okay.
Ray was more impulsive. Ghosts was more calculated. I didn't consider Tariq a killer until he said it. So now to me, he has made it up in his mind. This is who I am. I have a plan. Trust me.
Killer
and then
plan,
he goes in and executes it. First was going to
beautiful.
First was going to go see Tommy. And I love how they had many men playing in the background while he goes to meet up with Tommy. I thought that was perfect. If there was ever a time to play many men on this show, it was at that moment. I just thought mood wise or whatever, it was perfect.
But it goes to show you how much Tariq also knows Tommy, because he told his mom there's only 2 places that he could be. Mm-hmm. So Tariq knew it was either going to be with Cash or probably his mom. Like those are the only 2 places that Tommy would go. And I love that Tariq has known enough and seen enough through his movement with his dad that he knew exactly where he would be at that moment and leaned on the car like he was that dude. Like he leaned up on his car. It was like, "I promised your dad I wouldn't kill you, but if you don't get your goddamn body off my shit, I'm going to kill you." Yeah. Like, get up off my car. But I did love seeing Cash. That was sweet to bring him back.
It was. And what I loved about the episode post Tommy and Tariq's meeting was Tariq's plan. Tariq's plan, this was one of the most carefully organized, calculated plans that showed that he knew all the people involved. Not just knew of them, but knew how they would react and what he could do to manipulate the situation so that the best case scenario could happen for everybody. For everybody. Really. Like, or at least the general best case scenario where everybody would be all right. So first with Tommy, he tells him, "I got a plan for everybody to get out of this, no strings attached, and everybody will be good and there won't be no beef." That plan, I'm not going to lie, I was like, wow. When I saw it happening, I said, "Oh, wow, I can't believe they went with it." To where Tommy went, stole his mother's car. They let it be known that Tommy's back and he's trying to kill him. So Sax, all in the middle of that stressed ass sex scene with that prosecutor that he was dating, that stressed out scene where he finally comes out on top, literally, and has to go back to get that situated. You know what I mean? He had to go back and handle that. So they're trying to set Tommy up. You know, we know you're watching her. We know you're going to go after her. So that scene where Tommy rolls up and takes them on a chase that ends up in the car crashing and blowing up. Once I saw his car crash, I said, "Wow, he's going to fake his own death." I didn't even think about that.
Because I was wondering, how is Tommy going to walk free from all of it? I was like, there's no really way. Like, he's got the police on him. There's a lot of heat on Tommy. So that plan was executed flawlessly. And, you've got Cooper in the back seat with Tasha. And that actually was a really good scene as well, as they're talking, because it was enough to make Tasha realize that Yaz is not built for the life of being on, either one, on the run, or two, in WITSEC. Right. Like, we ain't seen Yaz but maybe 3 times through 7 seasons, but whatever. That's not going to change, guys. Yaz won't be around. But
she's like 14 now.
Yeah, she's so grown.
I was like, damn, she got mad tall.
I was like, wow, she's really like, she's about her grandma's height. Oh, okay, all right.
Well, next season, Yaz gonna be 30 years old.
Yeah, so grown. Like, she gonna be in college with Tariq.
Right.
Which makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, I definitely loved that scene. And everyone essentially did walk away clean, because there's no need for Tasha to go into WITSEC anymore with Tommy being dead. They can't go after him because essentially he's dead. So it worked out perfectly on all aspects of it. It just ended in Cooper being fired.
Right. But yeah, I mean, remember, he was never factored in. The people that Tariq factored in was Tommy, was himself, was his mom, and was Monet and their family. Yep. So Tasha still did not have any reservations not any reservations. She didn't have any plans to go into WITSEC even after all of that happened, where they were able to fake his death, and even to the point where Tommy had to pull out his back molars, I guess, plant it on a body for them to confirm the dental records to say that it was him. Because there was only 2 ways he was going to get out of all of that federal heat: was dead or in jail. And he found a third way, was to fake his old death. Right. Yeah. So now for all intents and purposes, he's a ghost too. Tommy's right. Dead. He's a ghost now too, because now in the eyes of the world, he's dead. Right. So when they meet up, before that, he meets up with Jabari to get the advance. And when Kane rolls up thinking that, and at this point, I can't blame Kane, because he overhears the conversation he gets the money. He's like, oh, I knew you were a snitch. Yep. I knew you were a snitch. I knew there was a reason. I knew I wasn't wilding. I knew my family shouldn't have trusted you. And Tariq had to put him on the game.
He's still so dumb. Kane is so smart, he's dumb. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you get it, but you don't get it, because it was a plan, nigga. It's like, you stupid. Mm-hmm. The whole thing was set up brilliantly, to the point where maybe it will make Kane calm down a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if his plan is to get Kane back with the family, now that takes Kane down a notch. Maybe you trust Tariq a little bit more, because he is able to do this. We always knew Tariq was smart, but the plans that he came up with and was actually able to execute was something that Ghost was never really good at doing. Like, Ghost would have the plan, but somehow along the way, the shit would get messed up. Tariq has come up with plans that align with each individual character and made it make sense. And he executes it perfectly. Like, he literally is the better version of his father. And it just makes me think of the final line that he said of the night. And I'm like, man, Tariq is a man. Like, ain't gonna be no plan. He may be in college, but that boy a man. Right. A man.
And when he's explaining to Kane how this is going to look and what you're messing up, and telling him straight up, I got all this covered. Because now Kane shoots to Jabari and he tells him, if you blow all of this up, you don't think this is going to come back on Zeke? Yep. Zeke's career is going to be over. Monet, and if you had any chance to get back in your family, that ain't happening once that happens. And he positions himself. The Connect is dead. Ramirez is dead, because he knows, because D told him. Yep. Diana told him. The Connect is dead. Ramirez is dead. So you don't got covered there. I'm literally the last lifeline that y'all have to move the weight that you have. And if you trust me, I can make this. I'll take care of this dude, and we'll make everything go away. That he knew that the gun was Ramirez's gun. It's like, yo, Ramirez was a dirty cop. His fingerprints are on all his bullets. We can handle him. And if I don't handle him, you can take me out.
Yep.
And Kane waits. And that conversation that he has with Jabari, to me, is where Tariq was on his way to becoming that final metamorphosis of becoming Ghost, with the way that he's executing these plans. And he tells people who he is when he has that conversation with Jabari. Because Jabari's like, yo, you just a kid, man. Come on, Tariq, get me some help. Like, you not like this. Like, you a good kid. And he's like, nah, you followed me. You making me do this. You had to write a book about my family. You couldn't mind your business. I saw somebody on Twitter post a picture of Jabari and said, if I don't mind my business, if not minding my own business was a person, it would be Jabari. Right.
This man took a notebook and followed him around town. Like, you did way too much, bro. And then had the nerve to tell him everything you knew. That was where Jabari was just dumb. Like, oh yeah, I know Drew is the connect, and and I'm like, bruh, you really are gonna get yourself killed because you can't know all of this information and live.
Right.
Like, there's no way.
And he lets him know. Tariq lets him know straight up. I'm the bad spot. I am this dude. I am the person who killed my father to protect my mother, who got my best friend killed to protect my family. I'm always going to do what I got to do.
Yep.
It always comes down. He said it always comes down to me, my family, and a gun. That's what it is.
And like Monet said, he told me he would always choose you about his mom. Right. He will always choose his mom. The thing about Jabari that bothered me the most is that he had so many chances where he could have saved himself, but he just couldn't resist the writer in him. You know, he couldn't resist capturing the story and being the first one, you know, and Tariq having to tell him, like, you don't know me. You never did. Like, you would have realized I was the bad spot if you did know me. Like, so now you've got a situation where Tariq and Kane are good. He's now killed Jabari.
But what about Jabari? Jabari could have gave that money and dipped. He had to ask him about who killed Bars. I need it for the book. It's like, fam, you got it already. That extra time got him shot. Yeah. And being too curious got him shot.
But do you think Jabari finally realized that it was Zeke that Carrie was sleeping with? Did you catch that?
The little hand grab when Zeke went to go talk to him. Yeah. I don't know.
He was listening at the wall too.
Well, he sent an email after they showed the scene after he got shot, where he sent her an email like, that I was acting up, like a I'm sorry email. It was on me. Let's get up tomorrow. While Zeke is there talking about round 2, dig.
Right.
Yo, you hate to see it, man. How many?
Jabari's laying there bleeding out.
How many text messages dudes sent? Some reconciliation, and their woman has already moved on. Like, whoops. Sorry, Charlie.
It'd be like that sometimes. What you want me to do?
I mean, it is what it is when it is. So that curiosity led to his death. And then even and when you think about this plan, his plan had plans. When they met, when he met Tasha at the cemetery, and Tasha's saying, "Yo, we gotta go. I'm leaving Yaz. Yaz isn't built for the life. It's gotta be me and you. It's gotta run." And the feds pull up because they tell him it's another attempt on your life. You gotta go. He calls the feds on his mom to force her into WITSEC so that Tommy wouldn't get her. Because he knew Tommy would not give it up.
Yeah, he knew. He knows Tommy enough to know that Tommy was not going to stop going after her. I mean, the hell, he was in that cemetery that night. So, I mean, he was coming for her, and he's not going to stop. So I do love the way Tariq did it, knowing that Tommy would be there, because it gave the police time to get ahead of Tommy. Right now, he doesn't know where they are, where they're going. He's going to have to figure all that out. And Tariq says that to him, like, I made sure they had space, like they had time in between, you know. But the conversation with him and his mom was sad. Like, it was like a goodbye in a way. She makes the statement that I guess this is, I got to accept this is the man you were supposed to be. And you can see the pain in his face as he's having to say goodbye to his mom. We don't know if Tariq will ever see Tasha again at this point. When you're in WITSEC, you can't communicate with your former life.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know that we'll ever see her again in that capacity. There's going to have to be Tommy dead, but we also know that's not going to happen because he got his own show coming.
Right.
So I don't know. It's sad that they have to part, but I do believe for Tariq to continue to be the man that he needs to be, his mom can't be there. She has a way of really fucking up his head in a way, like it's the motherly way. It's just natural being a mom. So I think he needs that clearance of her gone for him to do what he needs to do.
No, that's 100%. And you see that even after she leaves, when Tommy pulls up on him and he's like, yo, you really smart. You know, like I see what you did. And he's like, yeah, I knew you wouldn't quit. I knew you wouldn't quit. And when he made that call earlier and said, I need your help, I thought it was the feds.
It was Monet.
And it was Monet that pulled up. I just love that Tommy Monet interaction was so fire. That was like one of the most fire interactions between characters who I never thought would meet each other. Right?
Who the fuck got the balls? Who the fuck you run with got the balls to pull it on me? Listen, Tommy, anything he says is just fire. Like those lines were so perfect.
He was barring them up.
Like, me, motherfucker. Like, listen, Monet, you can say what you want to say about Monet, but she was A1 in that interaction with Tommy. Like that whole conversation was so pivotal in how we're going to move forward, you know, in the next season. Like I'm so excited after that conversation.
Right. She let him know, like it is funny because he tries to warn Monet about Tariq. Like, you better watch it with this one. You know, you better watch it with this one, and straight up tells him like, you know, Tariq lets him know, I made sure that she was somewhere where you couldn't track her down. And then when he sees Diana and Drew pull up, he's like, yo, you fucking just like Ghost. Like you just like him. You know what I mean? And he said, Tariq, I think he finally realized in that moment what his father was about. Like the whole complex nature, the shades of gray that Ghost lived in, he finally realized, where he said he did what he had to do, even if people hated him for it. Did what he had to do, even if people hated him for it, did the best for the best of everyone. He did what he had to do. And that's what he was doing there. And he said, you know, maybe next time I see you, I might be worthy of the name. And he's like, yo, we ain't never gonna see each other again. You know what I mean? So that when
Tommy says that, you better know he means the shit too.
Now, Tommy even saw it when he saw what was going on, and was just he was caught out there, and he even told Monet, like, that's the one thing about Tommy is Tommy fully accepted the life and knew if that was going to be the end, that was going to be the end. And he told him, you might as well smoke me now because I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop until Tasha's dead, no matter what. And now with her and Witsec and him pretty much in the wind and considered deceased, everybody has a fresh start, even if he didn't want to have that start.
Yeah, you know? It sets you up good for Tommy too. Like whenever his show does come about, it sets you up right, because now knowing that he's free, we know he's not going to have cops on his back the way we thought. So that's going to be interesting, you know, if Sax or anybody ever does find out that he is alive, which I do think at some point will happen. But I love the way they set this up. You know, he killed Monet's dude. So she was ready to pull. Like, she was ready. You want to go there? I can do it.
He's like, I should smoke you right now because you killed Al.
You killed him. And, you know, I also love the conversation. That was actually the second time that somebody warned another person about working with Tariq. You had Riley warn Brayden, you know, he's dangerous. Do you really know who he is and what he's done to his dad? Like, do you know? And I love that Brayden just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care. We don't give his character enough credit, you know, despite their little tiff. Brayden is in. And I love that about him. But the last thing that Tariq says is, you know, ghosts never die. And I love that, because the way they've been able to reference, you know, Power Series 1 and Ghost and keep bringing his name, like he's never going to die, because it's everything that Tariq does, every move that he makes, now understanding who his father was, like it's going to force him to have to understand the decisions made and then do it better.
Right.
And that's what I really love about the writing is they have found a way to essentially make Tariq the better version of Ghost and James St. Patrick. It's really ill how they've done
it. And let's be clear. Not only did he morph into a new Ghost, he morphed into a fan favorite. And that is something that I will pat myself on the back on, because I believe it was in one of the first couple of episodes I said they're going to be a shift in the conversation about Tariq, and I said by the end of this series he was going to be a fan favorite. I didn't know it was going to be by the end of the season.
Man, he was my fan favorite by the end of that first episode. It was so good. And I do love how they brought back the running in this episode. If you remember from the first episode, I was like,
running everywhere.
Running everywhere. And they played the same exact running music as he was running in this episode. And I was like, God damn.
100%.
So they really, the one thing that bothered us, I think, about Power, the first one, was that they would leave a lot of things left on the table, and it would cause us to have to try to figure it out and make pieces happen. This whole season, they have really taken every situation, given us the answer, and moved the fuck on.
Yep.
And that's what I really love. Like when I say no crumbs have been left on the table, there are none. Like they have cleared up pretty much every question. I don't even have any. Like, and I love how they've been able to do that, which is why I say if this show ended by some reason today, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
I mean, I think there's some loose ends, but I think they're more so cliffhangers for next season. It's not major ends
Kane,
to where
like Kane, how is that going to work?
Right.
Yeah.
Like what we're not trying to figure out major plot points and how they're going to fit in. It's enough left over to be able to come back for a season 2. Because remember, at the end, Monet says, "Let's go with the family." So now Tariq has his own family now. And the way what?
Kane was not in the car,
I didn't
right?
see Kane in the car.
Okay,
no.
Okay.
So that's still something that's out there. But you know, he did promise Kane, hey, you could either run for the rest of your life or get back with your family. And y'all remember, like, he's had this type of conversation with Kane before. The first time he went to the house, and then Kane dropped him off on the side and try to like intimidate him into not saying a word. And he's like, fam, like, I've been here. Like that, and that same place looked like the place where him and Kanan had their last stand with the police. Right? He's been here. And he's tried to tell Kane before, and I think Kane's jealousy and insecurity blinded him to the fact that, this might be a bougie black kid that goes to this rich ass school, but he really was in the street. He really has the knowledge, almost equal knowledge that we have. So you got to kind of drop your perception and see the dude for what he really is.
Which is what we've all had to do all season, right? We've all had to drop the perception of who we thought Tariq St. Patrick was. And in this episode, we are really privy to him being that person, just like his mom said, that he's come out to be. Like, amazing how all of these storylines align to just giving us that perfect meaning of who the character of Tariq is. Like, it's dope. It's dope.
Right. The other thing that I love that what happened is Monet officially has been passed the torch by Tasha and Tommy as being that parental figure for Tariq going on for the rest of the series. That conversation that she had with Tasha about being in the husband's shadow and what we made our kids, that gave her the sense of where Tariq came from and how she was going to have to move both in her organization and with her family. Then that talk with Tommy, the fact that she linked up with Tariq to do all of that, and she gets to see the full picture of Tariq's past, even asking him why you really killed your dad. And him using that advance money from Jabari to settle up his debt with Monet. Yes. That was probably the final piece from Monet. Like, you always chose your mom. I gotta respect that, but you also settled up with me. So now, meeting those two characters from the OG Power, who we're probably, for the time being, are not going to see in Ghost again. Now we have a transition. It's a literal transition of power from those characters to Monet. So Monet is going to be the staple for Tariq as that parental figure and as his boss in the game. That dual personality that if Tasha and Ghost were for him, maybe he doesn't go on this path to begin with.
Wow. Mind fuck. Yeah, that's good.
Just saying, it goes a lot. It goes a lot to try to instill some type of confidence in your kids, especially when you're doing all these things, because them exposing their kids, Monet and Lorenzo, to that game, they were shielded in a sense from the unknown and stumbling upon something, and they were given those tools to move. The only difference is their family had more of the Tommy mentality, where this is the game. There's nothing else you're trying to do. Like, this is how we make our money. This is what we're going to do for life. Whereas Ghost wanted Tariq to have no parts because he was trying to get out himself and didn't want Tariq to ever have to feel like he had to do that, because they probably had what Monet and Lorenzo never had, was those opportunities, because they were making more money. So it's a good dichotomy to see.
Yeah, and Tariq now having the knowledge of what his parents, like what his dad did, how he was able to make more money. You know, I think that's something that's going to end up benefiting Monet as well in the long run. And back to the conversation that he did have with Dee, I do love, you know, the way he told her, I got you. Like, he held her hands and he was like, I got you. I don't know what's going to come of that relationship, but I do know that he's already saved her life once, which he made a point to tell Kane, like, I saved your sister. Like, you need to chill the fuck out. I didn't have to do that. So I do love that he, despite him having to be that killer persona, you still do see glimpses of, you know, the Tariq with the good heart that was instilled in him through being there with Raina and his mom and his grandmother. And, you know, Ghost could never connect with that Tariq. So we're seeing that in different aspects. I just love his character, the depth of his character, because there's not one side to Tariq. There's multiple that we get to see through his different interactions with different characters throughout the show.
That's a fact. So our listeners,
y'all lit,
went nuts with these emails. This is by far, I want to say, the most emails that we've ever received for an episode. There's been others. It's usually the finales that bring everybody out. And shout out to everybody who follows us on the socials, who saw the call for all questions and comments to be answered.
Signal, who saw the call.
They saw the call. Like, I told them, like, yo, you want to be a part of the show? We'll add you. We'll get all these comments and questions and everything in between in. Like, we got nothing, you know, we discuss, and they are part of our show too. So let's get into the emails. First off, from Bev. What's going on, Bev? Thanks for doing the pod. I love the show, but as a white girl living in Ireland, if it's not some Downton Abbey BS, they don't want to know. Oh, what's up? Well, shout out to Ireland. Shout out to Ireland, UK, all of that, Europe. Everybody's listening to Power After Hours around the globe.
That's amazing. That makes me smile. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
A few things. How did I go from wanting Tommy to drop kick Tariq off a building to cheering when Tariq fucks Sax on the stand? That character arc is real. Yeah. And I think we all saw what was going to happen to Sax. I just didn't know that he was going to be alive. But
yeah, I thought Sax was going to die. I really did think his character was going to be dead. But I actually liked the way that they took his character even better, because he still gets to be the jackass that we all love.
Right. 100%. I felt sorry for Tariq when it looked like he was having to leave school. There was a moment when he looked at the photo of him and Brayden, and I genuinely felt bad for him. Yeah, you could tell he looked at school as a means to an end. But as any college kid will tell you, like, when you're in college, like, you having the time of your life. That's some of the best years of your life before you go in the real world and realize what the hell it is. So yeah, he wanted to leave on his own terms. I think wanted to leave on his own terms, and I think that would have been more satisfying for him than having to leave and having to be on the run.
Yeah, and also he's becoming a man. Like, and maybe if he was 16, that would have made some sense. But when he was at Choate, maybe.
Mm.
But now, he's in college. He's got to experience life without having his parent there. Tasha's been gone all season. Ghost is dead, so he's essentially been the child, the adult, everything throughout this entire time. Nobody wants to lose that. Nobody wants to lose the ability to be a kid. And that's what I'm glad that he stood his ground on that and didn't go with Tasha.
Right. I love Tommy. We all do. How
Yes,
did Yaz go from being 3 to 13? Continuity be damned.
They got that even in Ireland. Y'all picked that up? Yes. Listen, we make fun of Yaz on here.
She
Y'all
got that little Nikki from the Fresh Prince gene.
Go upstairs.
That's what it is.
Now somebody else.
He came back one season and he was 35.
Yaz was a baby in season 1, an infant. She was in a crib. Do y'all remember because of that that keychain that he brought from the museum when he went with Angela? She was a baby. And now we in season 7. It would only make sense for her to be about 7, 8. I think they've got her pegged right at about 10, 12 though, based on what I saw yesterday. It looks like she's more 10. Right. So I mean, it makes sense. It's just we don't see her often enough. So it seems to us like she's going from baby to big kid. But if you think about the seasons, it's on point.
Yeah. I will push back a little because I think chronologically between season 5 and maybe season 4 and season 7, maybe a year has passed.
You're right.
Chronologically. Because you got to remember from season 5 to season 6.
You're right.
It was only a span of a few months. And then now we're going through this school year. So this school year kind of sped up. Like it's probably been a year's time. But I would have to go back and look at the previous episodes. But I don't think 7 years has passed in Power time.
You're right.
In Power
you're
time.
Absolutely right. Because there was situations like even when Raina died, it seemed like that was only like a week's time, and we went through like 5 episodes in that time.
Right.
So yeah, you're absolutely right.
It took a while.
But it doesn't help that we don't see her enough. Even if it wasn't chronologically, to see somebody as a baby and then 4 seasons later they're 4 years old. It's like, wait a minute, what's up? Like it's just they don't show her enough for it to make sense. So I think they have to phase that character out unless they're going to bring her in more because.
Yeah, give her a bigger role in book 2,
I'm not trying to
next season.
Having her show up like that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I thought the finale was perfect. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, Bev. Thank you, Bev. I appreciate the email.
Thank you.
Let's.
But Downton Abbey is a good show, ma'am. Just saying.
I heard. So next email is from Dewan. What's up, Dewan? Jeff and Krissy, hope y'all both had a safe and happy New Year celebration. We arrived at the finale. Let's see what's about to go down. This episode was all about survival. Every one of them was trying to simply survive their current situation. When Tariq took the stand and blew up Sax, I was on the floor in awe. Tariq cross-examined Sax and Tamika orchestrated all of it with a head nod. Okay, I'm getting very sick of this Stephen Ott. He annoys the absolute shit out of me. Why can't he try the case? Why can't he try the case himself? So hypocritical. How could he call McLean an unethical piece of shit when this entire fucking case is a setup from which he is the only one that benefits?
Thank you, Dewan.
Welcome to white privilege and the improper use of the justice system.
Hello, it happens every day, my friend.
Yes, politics as usual. Tasha's ass was stupid enough to believe she could run. Same thing Keisha thought, and look what happened. Speaking of Keisha, one thing
I kept saying, like, why does she think she's really going to be able to run out here in these streets? Like, where's she running to? Where you going? What you and Tariq about to be doing?
The best laid plans of mice and men. Speaking of Keisha, it was good to see Cash, but Uncle Tommy said he needed to cancel Christmas on a few people. Yaz is looking even older.
Everybody's bringing that shit up.
Hey, it is what it is. Riley needs to sit her ass down somewhere. It wasn't Tariq's job to tell anybody anything about his life that he didn't want to. And why would he tell Brayden everything? Yeah, he's a ride or die, but that's dangerous info for anyone to have.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell Brayden everything by any means. I think Tariq plays Brayden the smart way. I do love how Tariq said to Brayden, I don't think she's that bad, of a person. Anyway.
Which is true.
It's true. And I think that gives room for Riley to eventually at some point come back as well. So
100%.
We'll see how that goes.
100%. Not gonna lie, this whole episode had me on the edge because all signs were pointing at someone hurting Tariq. And I low-key was hoping he dropped Kane's name to the police to get rid of him.
I thought that's what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I thought that's what was gonna happen.
He had several moments where it looked like that's what he was thinking, rolls eyes.
Yeah.
I'll say that would have been a ghost move.
Yes, it would have.
That would have been a ghost move. That would have been a ghost move. That's not a Tariq move because
that makes sense.
Remember that chessboard was prevalent throughout the whole season. He's thinking multiple moves ahead, and that's how he's operating in these situations where he's considered all of the scenarios and chose the best one for him. Here's Jabari's trifling ass. Can't say I'm gonna miss him. He showed his cards way too damn early, and as true to power as power can be, he had to die. Yep. Anyone else notice that suddenly Tasha was so concerned about Yaz? Baby girl is fine with Big Mama. Clearly she ain't missing meals.
She ain't missing meals at all. Mom,
shout out to the grandmas.
Yes, I fully believe it's not Tasha's daughter. I think it was her mom's. She's the only one that's been caring from Yaz for day one.
You think Tasha's mom is Yaz's mom?
It was a joke. It was a joke. But I do think Tasha needs to let her adopt that child because Tasha ain't been with Yaz since day one. Since she saw that keychain in that damn thing.
Yeah, when she almost choked on that damn keychain.
Just give it to your mom and let her live the life she deserves to live.
I mean, that's what basically she does off screen is live with the grandmother. So they already have it built in. When Tommy said,
I agree with him about Jabari flipping his hand too quick, but I do think we are going to see that come back into season 2. One, because the cop was the last, he saw Tariq with him last, right, in the office. And 2, Jabari put everything on that laptop. That laptop, whoever gets in possession of it is going to have a lot of shit on there.
Right.
A lot of shit.
When Tommy said, I want all the smoke, I got chills. Also, am I the only one that thought that somehow they would pin the ghost murder on Saxe? I didn't. That would have been like a real outside chance. I think they don't really have anything else other than he said, she said. So I don't think that was going to work.
They can't try that case. That case is done.
Tariq kind of opened the door in court, and then Saxe put Tasha in danger when he told her to turn the car around. Made sense to me. It broke my heart when Tariq called in the feds to take Tasha away. He basically gave her a different jail sentence, and now she's going to be alone because Yaz wasn't there. Yes, Monet coming through for the save. Don't need no balls, bitch. Just a piece of steel and an upper hand. I hollered. But the final line of the episode was the family's waiting. So it sounds to me that he's essentially taking Kane's spot because Kane wasn't in the car. Tariq is a Tejada now.
I don't know about taking Kane's spot. I do think he's going to remain loyal to Kane and getting him a spot back in the family, no matter how that looks. Is that going to happen overnight in one episode? Probably not. It's going to take multiple shots of Kane doing what he needs to do to get back in the family. But I mean, I don't think Tariq is going to cross him because he knows how fucking crazy Kane is.
100%. Damn good episode. I love the setup for the new season. Can't wait to see what they do. You guys, please keep the episodes coming. I look forward to listening to you guys every week. And at any time you want to hear real life stories about students and professors, let me know. I was a professor for 4 years and saw a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tempt me with a good time, Dewan. Don't tempt me with a good time. But thank you. Thank you so much for writing in. We appreciate the email. Next email from Jennifer. Just curious as to why it seems like the Tejada family has no idea who Ghost was. They should know about Ghost, Tommy, Tasha, Tariq, right? Thank you. So we've talked about this about 5,000 times, but just you may be in and out of the what do you call it, like the episodes. So just a real quick, too long, didn't read. Drug dealing is not a monolith. They were operating in multiple parts of Queens. Every drug dealer doesn't know each other, so they had no idea. And Ghost literally was a ghost, so nobody has put Ghost and James St. Patrick together. And people probably knew Tommy was like a Primero or the lead, but they didn't know who the organization was, or you might have just heard about him. So that's the reason why. But we appreciate you.
If you knew who Ghost was, you were killed.
Right?
If you
exactly.
Ghost, you died. So there's nobody that knew how big it is. And New York is big, man. Like the boroughs and all that shit. Like it doesn't surprise me because they're the level that Ghost was at versus the level that Monet is at. Monet still got like it's a whole different game. Can Monet get there? Yes, but I don't even see them on the same path. Like she may have known the dealers that were on the street that ran for Tommy. That's
right.
about
like the soldiers, but you don't know who that's probably why their business was so successful, is because nobody knew who was at the top, unless it's like if you knew, you know what I mean?
We got 2-Bit up in the air too.
Right, that's true. That's true. 2-Bit is still floating. So shout out to Brianna for this email. Jennifer, thank you for yours. I would like to talk about the story behind Brayden and Tariq. We can see it's the next Ghost and Tommy. Will Brayden have the killer mentality? Will he have to kill his lover, Riley, too? Does Tommy and 2-Bit take over the streets? Tommy killed Angela. Which lover of Tariq's will Tommy kill?
I don't think that's...
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I don't think... The whole thing with the Brayden, Tommy Ghost thing, I think it's two completely different dynamics. I don't think it's a Tommy and Ghost situation. I think it's a Brayden and Tariq situation. In fact, yes, Brayden commented saying this is the one thing that he's good at. That's why he wants to keep doing it. But at any point, he has an eject button. He doesn't have to get too deep because he's rich. So I don't think that it's the same situation as Tommy, where this was the only life Tommy knew, and that's what he was going to run with. So I don't think all of that happens. What do you think about whether Tommy or 2-Bit take over the streets?
I mean, Tommy is bound to take over some streets. Like, I don't know where he's going to be in terms of...
Well, they said LA. He said he was going to LA, so is that still true?
Going back to LA?
I mean, that's what's been up in the air. I don't know if that's going to be a fact. You know what I mean?
That's such a different market. But yeah, I definitely know Tommy will be in somebody's streets. Whether 2-Bit ends up, because I think Tariq still owes 2-Bit money at this point, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah, that's an open thread.
Yeah, 2-Bit's not going anywhere yet. When you talk about like, I think with the way that Brayden and Tariq are operating with Course Connect, it's way different from what Tommy and Ghost were doing with the streets. I don't think they're going to see as much problems when it comes to Course Connect. The problems are going to come from the shit that Tariq is doing with the Tejadas. That's where that problem comes in. And I don't even think Brayden sees that. I think Brayden is literally just heading course correct. Like, that's what he told them. Even if I'm not around,
right, you
can easily take this shit over. So I don't think those two align at all.
Right. And yeah, that's one of the questions that we have. 2-Bit is still around. He still owes Dre. Well, he paid Dre back, but Tariq still owes him that bread. So is he gonna stick around, or does he link up with Tommy and go out to LA? That's an open-ended question and something that's gonna linger in the Powerverse. So and I don't think Tommy's gonna kill any of Tariq's lovers unless they get in his business. I think it's done. He made a vow to Ghost. He's done. Like he said, we're never gonna see each other again.
We'll never see each other again. Right.
So who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But I don't think that I see him going after like his I just
it doesn't make sense at this point because he only wanted smoke with those who set the fire on him first, right? So Jerome, what's going on, Jerome? Thank you for the email. Solid finale. I think even if they had gotten the green light, if they hadn't gotten the green light for season 2, it would have been a good ending. Interested in how Kane gets back into the fold after seeing Tariq put in work. I'm totally up for Power Book 6, Janky Lawyers with Sax and McLean. Look at that. Thank you. I
just said it.
And we didn't even read these emails before.
Give me a Law and Order with Sax. I am 100% on board for their shenanigans because both of them ain't shit and they both do shady things. I definitely think it's probably something that Courtney Kemp has now thought about. I'm telling you, that would be a killer show. Killer.
And somehow they get Stabler to be like the head attorney or whatever that they gotta
come on, boom boom
go after. They'd find a way. They definitely would find a way.
Bring it on.
My main question is Is Professor Milgram now going to be this Annalise Keating, Olivia Pope type character trying to fix things with her previously dormant lawyer powers? And I'm sorry, the current world is getting more progressive, but no professor is dressing like that. Not complaining, but her sides,
I will say that.
What do you say? Yeah. But her sides were out, and that slit had me rewind and pause. Love what you guys are doing. Can't wait to hear you two back next series/season.
That dress was a lot, Jeff. Come on.
I think the dressing, it's a show. It's a show.
Yeah, it's definitely a show, but I hear what he's saying. In terms of a professor, you would never see a professor dressed like that. Like, not ever.
But was she revealing, though? Did you think that she was revealing?
She had 2 open holes from the top and one down on the bottom on both sides of her dress. Go back and watch it. That's something that maybe Diana would wear, but I wouldn't see my professor wearing that.
When was this? Was this when they were interviewing Everett, or when she saw Zeke?
When Zeke came and he put his hand on her side was open as hell. She had on a dress with 2 big ass holes on each side of her body.
Oh shit. I just pulled it up now.
What professor wearing that shit? TV
I'm saying
not.
It just showed skin on her shoulder and on the side. It wasn't like her ass was out. No, I'm not saying I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm like,
you nigga, see? Y'all
no,
see?
I'm really not trying to be. And I'm looking at it now and I'm like, yeah, that might be a little bit. That might be a lot. But she didn't have class that day, I don't think.
Nigga, get out of here. Are you bruh? You know what? Y'all sign off.
What'd she do for the off hours? It's her business, right?
But she's on property of work. You gonna go into your job dressed like a hoe?
No, I have morals.
Exactly. You have class.
So wait,
I'm not saying
that's dressing like a hoe? Wow.
I just said I'm not saying
Krissy.
Don't play me. What I am saying is that dress is inappropriate for work. No matter where you work, that shit inappropriate.
She be doing this the whole time.
I am so done. Wow. Let me tell y'all something.
She be adjusted herself and shit.
If I get back, if I'm here on season 2, y'all just pray about it.
Wow. Let's lie to the people.
I know I'll be here.
Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna be trying to fix people, but
that case is not over. It's not over. There's still going to be, because Jabari is dead, there's still a lot of things that they didn't show Laz Alonso's character looking at Tariq as he left the office for no reason. There is still a lot of things that have to be pieced together. And I think you're going to see Carrie go through a hard time because she had feelings for Jabari, whether she wants to believe it or not, there were feelings there. So you're going to see a different Carrie in season 2, I think. But I do think she's going to become more investigative in terms of seeing his laptop and his little notepad that he had and putting things together.
Right.
If she doesn't get it from Zeke already, because that nigga just telling her everything.
Exactly. So that's another open-ended cliffhanger. What's gonna happen in the aftermath of Jabari's death? Yeah. If that whole investigation, how does that come back on Zeke and his family? And if it does, how is she gonna react when she finds out he's dead and probably eventually starts seeing his notes and all of that? What is really gonna happen? That's something that's really intriguing for next season. Jerome, thank you for the email. What's up, Tasha? Tasha sends us an email. Hello, comments on the finale. This was an amazing episode. The writers hit it out of the park. The only part I thought was odd was that they dropped the 2-Bit storyline. Or maybe I missed it. Did 2-Bit just decide he no longer wanted his payments from Tariq? I think we just talked about that. That's an open-ended question because he never came back for his money. So is he going to show up in season 2? Or is it somehow they can write that off one way or another? I think they could either write it off with him coming back for the money, or maybe he links up with Tommy and doesn't get the money. Yeah. He's like, yo, I gotta get this from Tariq. He's like, yo, fuck him. I'm not dealing with him no more. Like, we out. Yeah. So who knows?
But it looks like the money he gets goes to Spank's mom in some way. So I don't know how Tommy would feel about it either.
Right. Plus Tommy is back, but doesn't hit up his most loyal living soldier, 2-Bit. I don't even know if he knows that 2-Bit is out of jail.
I don't think he knows 2-Bit's out.
Right. And another thing, once Jabari's body is found, won't his cell records show Tariq, not Ramirez, was the last person that text him asking to meet up?
Tariq sent it from the burner phone, no?
I believe so. So I don't know if he saved him as Tariq in the phone, though. But if they call the number and the number's not working, then, you know, whatever it is whatever it is. But that is a good question.
Tariq texted him, didn't he? It was a text, wasn't it?
He text the number that he was told to text and was like, yo, I need the money. Like when he was like, yo, I want to do it. Where can I meet you? I need the money ASAP. And that's why Jabari
pulled the burner out of the thing.
Yeah, but he gave it to his mom. But I'm just saying on his phone. But remember, Jabari, that money wasn't the advance money. He said he pulled out as much money of his account as he could. His account. So he pulls out money and then he ends up dead. So what are they gonna say? I think where Tariq was going with it was maybe Ramirez gets implicated because the bullets will tie back to his gun. Yeah. So they could think that he was trying to do something shady and he killed Jabari. So that death is going to be on Ramirez because it's on his gun. And Ramirez is nowhere to be found.
He's on the run, so to speak.
Like Kane said, his body's like R. Kelly's never coming back. Side note, kudos to Sax for finally earning a sex scene and managing to once again stay employed. That man keeps a job. Overall, I'm looking forward to season 2. Love the pod. Thanks. Thank you, Tasha. Appreciate the email. All right. This final one, they put a fan at the end of the email, so I won't say the name that that you said. So, you know, we appreciate anonymity. We can't run a podcast like Power After Hours without appreciating anonymity. Well, shout out to you. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Krissy. Just wanted to reach out and thank you both for the great content. Hope y'all had a great new year and a better weekend. I'm only back watching the season of Power to keep up with the podcast, but not going to lie, they did a great job and I've enjoyed each episode. So, well, thank you for keeping up with us. This season finale was fire from start to finish. The opening scene with Monet murdering Rico, what a way to start. Continuing with his crazy Kane disposing of Ramirez's body, Tariq running around campus trying not to be late to class just to find out said class is canceled. I know we have all been in that situation. That was like my whole junior year. So much to say about the episode, and I'd rather not do a recap email, but some major takeaways. I would rather you do that too. I appreciate you. Tommy being back in this way was a great way to introduce the start of his spinoff. Should be good. And yeah, that was a good question also that our people Jay Scott that always interacts with our Twitter account was saying, where does Tommy's series pick up and where has it been all this time? From him leaving or from him seeing Tasha rat on him? So they have a couple of ways they could go. They could follow what happens in the aftermath of all that, or maybe they show flashbacks of him finding out and being in New York. Who knows? But I think that is a good way to start it off.
I love that Kate was mentioned, but we never saw her.
Oh yeah.
Poor car. I hope he got her a new car though.
Well, you know, she wasn't fucking with him after the episode. He said Ghost was his real son, so he probably didn't have a problem stealing the car. Yeah, that's true. Not surprised what happened with Jabari. He was doing too much and basically tried to extort Tariq. I have a feeling him sending Carrie that email is going to be something we see come up in the next season, as well as Detective Santana, LOL, Laz Alonso always portrays a shady character. Let's see if that holds up. Keep your eyes open. I think this whole time, Tasha being in jail and on trial for Ghost murder, people must have forgotten she really was the queen pin of the organization. She basically helped with and knew everything. Yeah, she didn't kill Ghost, but she was not innocent of being the queen pin. Hank kicking the judge out her own chambers was hilarious. Hank equals Stephen Knott. If you know, you know. Yes. I don't really think that Tasha was the queen pin though, because she did not lead the organization. That's what being the queen pin in. Ghost was the lead the entire time. She might have been an accomplice or part
in the beginning, not even at the end.
But you can make an argument that it was a part of the organization. You can make a solid argument for why the minute she started laundering money, she was a part of the organization, but she definitely wasn't the queen pin. There was no way she was.
No way. She wasn't ordering hits. She wasn't the one saying, like, that was all Ghost and essentially Tommy too. Tommy had a big hand in it. I would put her as like further down the line. Like, it wouldn't, like, the definition of queen pin, I would look at more as Monet right now than I would ever as Tasha.
Right, 100%. Well, not of the Ghost organization, but
no,
but
in
Monet
general,
is a
what
queen pin.
Is, and when I look at the definition of what a queen pin is, I would look at Monet before I ever looked at Tasha.
So you would, you would consider if anyone was a queen pin, it would be
it's Monet. Yeah, it's not ever going to be Tasha. Tasha didn't do enough to be labeled a queen pin.
Right, 100%. I was really surprised by Tariq considering in Power when every decision he made pissed me off. In book 2, I am not mad at anything he has done, and the season ends with me wanting to see what he does next. Let's hope the show stays on track and does not fall off. Can't wait to hear this latest podcast. Thank you so much. I think we've watched the character grow up. We've watched Tariq grow up. We watched him make all of those mistakes and piss us off for being a stupid kid at times, for being a selfish kid, and for getting people in situations that lost them their life or something else. And now we're seeing what happens when you learn from your mistakes and apply those lessons to your life. That wisdom that he's showing based on Tasha, Tommy, Kane, Ghost, all those people that he's been around. Now he looks like a seasoned vet on a championship team.
A part of me thinks that's why he keeps the girls at bay too. A part of me thinks that's why he doesn't really get involved with one woman, is because he saw what his dad getting involved in Angela did to his business and his personal life. So I don't know. I think that part of who Ghost was will come into play in the further seasons as we go ahead. Mm-hmm. But I think he's definitely going to have issues with like having that one woman because he doesn't want to become who his father was.
100%. And you know, that takes us to like the final, like we just some questions and stuff. We touched on some of them. So I'm going to run through them, things that we can look forward to in season 2 and some potential takeaways, some potential answers that we need. So one thing I was thinking of was Tariq going to kill Jabari anyway?
I thought about that. I don't know because I don't know that did he have a gun on him? I
don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, there's so many, that's one of the things that's just left up in the air. I don't think he had a choice in a way. I think he was never going to fully let Jabari get away with doing, this book, but it just happened that it was a convenient kill.
Right. Once he was shot, it was it. Yeah. 100%. What happens with Jabari's death next season? Will Bar's death come back to bite Seeker the family? Where's 2-Bit? We talked about those things. Will Riley return to wreak havoc on Tariq's life? Who knows? But will she come back in Brayden's life? Will he let her back in? You're a college kid. It happens. Shout out for Tariq for having a love quadrilateral. He doesn't have a triangle. He has a 4-sided love interest with Lauren, Diana, and Effie. Effie's still there. So how is he going to balance that next season? And will we find out who Effie's connect is?
That's like been lingering for now, 2 years? I don't know if that's a question that they just don't want to answer, but Maybe. It's like, who is her connect? Where's she getting all this product from? Because she does deal, the thing that he doesn't. He does pills. Effie does coke, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's maybe why they haven't linked the two stories yet. Yeah. But with Brayden really wanting to move coke, I would assume at some point we're going to find that out.
And then also she's selling on campuses. So if someone else is trying to move weight on campuses, they got competition. Yeah. It might be, it might be a situation. Will Kane come back to the family? That's still up in the air because it all depends on how Monet feels. Maybe that talk with Tasha will have her be, and with Lorenzo will have her be more inviting. We don't know. That's something for next season.
Well, I don't know because she had that talk with Kane after her talk with Tasha. So she already has seen Kane post the talk that she's had with Tasha. I think it really is going to take Tariq, and his way of convincing, but also setting Kane up for success to get back in with the family.
She also walked in on Kane knocking something out the park. You know what I'm saying?
Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, I would be deceased if that ever happened to me. I would have just passed. I would have just passed out right there. Like, whoa.
The thought is making me sick, actually. Like, oh, Miss Ummy. And I'm married, and I'm still like, oh no, I don't.
No, that would just be like people walking in on you, and then it's your mom, and your mom with a gun. And Shorty was out.
Oh, she was out. She grabbed that underwear so fast.
I want no parts. I want absolutely no parts. How will Lorenzo feel about everything?
What can he do? What he gonna do?
We know he has power in that cell.
Well, he also set up Ramirez, right? We found that out kind of here in this episode, was that he's the one that set Ramirez as the contact for Monet.
That's his contact.
Yeah, it's his contact. So I don't really know how he can. I don't know. There's only so much he can do from jail. Will they focus on getting him out? Will that be Sax and whatchamacallit's case next season is getting him out of jail?
That's a good one. I had that Sax. Who will they handle next? That would actually be kind of ill. Will Ramirez's death come back to bite them? It gotta in some way. And we spoke about Tommy's series picking up. I'm even more interested about Force.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm glad that they pushed it up. I'm glad that they pushed it up to book 4.
Joseph Sikora, if you're listening, we would love to interview you. I'm just going to put it out there because he is so perfect. I have been a Joseph Sikora fan since season 2 of Power.
He's a great interview too.
He's
a great interview too. So.
I adore him. Everything about him, like just him being on this show, the way he went from season 1, where I really wasn't sure of his character, to season 2 of Power. Like I have really enjoyed the growth of Tommy's character. And so to see him come back last night and, still be that Tommy that we love, bruh, I just love Joseph Sikora for that character. He kills it. Knocks it out.
He snapped right into character and didn't look back. I love that 100%. So yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in, I am more intrigued in Raising Kanan than I thought I would be, just for the prequel, the prequel perspective. And the one question that I have with that, will they introduce characters on that show that may end up in Ghost or Force, or the Lorenz Tate one? Because just because you see them in a prequel doesn't mean they're not still around today. Mm-hmm. So there's a way that you can introduce people in a prequel and they show up. I think I spoke about that last week. I can't remember, but yeah, I think that's my biggest question once again, and how they're going to start it off. Is this just going to be them being teenagers? Is this going to be? It feels like it's a Kanan focused show, just showing his life and how he came up on the street.
More so, like, is there going to be like a little Ghost and a little Tommy and a
That's
little?
That's what they said originally, that they were gonna have like a teenage Ghost, teenage Tom. You remember the little vignette that they had at the end of the last season of Power, where they showed little clips, and there was like a clip of a young Ghost, a young Angie, and a young Tommy in school. So that's why I'm like, maybe it's going to be focused on him, and then how they connected with each other, how they got into the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ghost was a corner boy before anything.
Yeah.
Ghost and
Tasha was a part of it too. I still think Tasha and Ghost, Tasha and Kanan, I mean, there's more there. And I something tells me we're going to get some of that in Raising Kanan too.
Maybe.
People have always thought that. I did see somebody hit me up in my mentions last week asking, could Kane be Kanan's son? Is there any way he would have known Monet? And I completely, like, I know I said a lot on that message back, but I don't think there's any real way that that's even possible.
Courtney Kemp already said no.
Yeah, so
she
there
already
you go.
said no. She was like, no, he's not his son. Like,
the name is similar, but it just wouldn't make any sense. So
right. I think that would be too much on the nose.
Yeah,
but
I would be.
What are you looking forward to next season of Ghost?
Honestly, I really think for me, I'm looking forward to more of the evolution of Tariq's character. Like we literally started out hating this dude. Like everyone hated Tariq, and now we are rooting for him despite knowing that he killed his dad. Like Raina's dead because of him. He's now killed Jabari, and we still are rooting for him because we want Tariq to be a successful killer. I really
Here's
don't
what it
get
is. We want the cool character to do cool shit, and we don't want him to do dumb shit. And Tariq is doing that.
I'm looking forward to the evolution of his character, but also the evolution of his relationship with the Tejadas. I think that's going to be really fun to watch play out, and that's really where I'm at with it. I'm really just excited to see what they bring to the table in the next season. What about you?
I think I'm intrigued by what Saxe and McLean are going to do. Like, what are they exactly going to do, and is it going to tie back to Tariq in some way? Because I think Saxe has that fixation with Tariq and that family, and they're gonna want to try to do anything in their power to fuck them over. So I think I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in new characters that are gonna arise. I don't know who's going to pop up next season or who's gonna be in, but I want to see how they're woven into this fabric of the show. I also do want to see Tariq. What now? Now got you cool with the family. You still gonna go to school. You still want to graduate. So it's probably gonna hopefully comes back in their year, the next year.
Right.
Because it looks like he's gonna have to go to school all 4 years. So how is that whole thing gonna operate? Are they still gonna go with the book themes? Are they gonna do different things? Those are the little things I'm intrigued about. But overall, I just hope that story-wise, they follow the same coherent, involved story where they can balance fan service with great storytelling. Because that season with Tommy letting Tommy come back, having him come back, that was great fan service, and it also was smart to put in the show and also was logical to put in the show. So I'm looking most forward to them being able to build on that and continue to write tight, solid episodes. No filler, get in, get out with the 10 episodes and keep going. Because from someone who was skeptical of whether or not they were going to be able to continue it going, I admit it. I don't have a problem admitting it. It was fire. I enjoyed the first season.
You're welcome.
Whatever, Krissy, okay? Because I can pull back that last episode of Power After Hours before Ghost, when we both was like, I don't know, this might be the last time you saw us.
But I told you from jump we were doing this regardless. I just didn't like, I was upended by the way the last season went. I didn't like it. Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Listen, we were always doing this podcast. I told Jeff that from the very beginning. The fans wanted it, and we did it.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it. And
Empire was the one thing I messed up on, and that's it.
I won't say that you messed up, because that first season was comedy. Like we had fun reviewing the first episode. The first season of Empire, I didn't think we was gonna be there, but it was every week. It was something. Every week it was something. Fun. Remember Tuba Good and Junior?
Goddamn
Puma Good and Junior, yo.
Man, there was some good times. That podcast was fun, but we could only do it for one time.
Yeah,
that show.
With the second season, I was like, nah, we can't. We have to check out for our mental health and whatnot. We had to check out. But like I said, we really enjoy.
Yeah,
we really enjoy doing this podcast. We enjoy connecting with y'all on YouTube, on social, on email, just connecting with the fans and someone let me pull up my I got a great I saw a great tweet the other day from shout out to Janae Brown, great social media marketer. She said, I hope Power runs forever like All My Children. It's our black crime drama soap opera. I don't care. I'll watch it till I'm old and gray. And
I'm with you.
It's a fact. This is what it is. Yo, if you would have told me 5 years ago that there would be a power universe on TV, I would have been like, yo, you're very ambitious. You might be on a few drugs. You're very ambitious. We didn't see it, but it's here. And the characters who make the show are so interesting that even when people will clown the show, we'll have jokes, and that's what we do with our art. We're gonna find the humor in everything, have our jokes, whatnot. But everybody's there every week. Yep. Every week, clockwork. We watch Power midnight. We watch Power any other time of the day. We staying off social so we avoid spoilers. Like, this is what it is. And I just hope that they're able to capitalize off of that fan engagement, and still continue to make and to even endeavor to raise the quality. You know, like, let's get better. Let's do better. Let's get the most popping actors on the show. I will say that's one thing I love about Courtney Kemp, though, is that, you know, this season, Mary J. Blige, Method Man. But if you think about all the characters on Power, a lot of them are people we've not really seen on TV. They're really up and coming, like, actor. I can't remember a time I've seen Woody who plays Kane, or like there's not a lot of things. Oh, well, yeah, I do. New addition, but I'm just saying, like, prior to that.
Yeah, they really do a good job of bringing these new characters in and giving them that avenue. So I respect that. Like, even Joseph Sikora before Power, he was doing things like Little Law and Orders, and, you know, like, this is a huge role for him, and he took it and ran with it.
Right.
So I love that aspect of it. I would like to see big actors, but I like what they do already.
Right. Not to mention the actors that they do get, like you know, Jerry Ferrara, who did something completely different than Entourage and killed that. Lorenz Tate, who did something different than what we've seen, killed that. Victor Garber, who's Simon Stern, that is an actor, bruh. Like, that is an actor, okay? Yep. Oh God, I'm blanking on her name. I see her name. Juicebox.
Oh shoot. Yeah. Yep. She was Princess Jukebox. She was one of the princesses, the Disney princesses.
Anika Nani Rose.
Yep.
Shout out to Google forever and always. But I'm sorry, Anika
Nani Rose, right?
Totally, Anika Noni Rose. I totally blank. But like her, people that we've seen throughout the time that's been on, they even had Kendrick Lamar do a guest spot and was fire in the guest spot, to the point where people are like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've had actors, rappers, like, people. This has become that cultural show and that cultural series. That's why, say what you want. When this show, when all of this wraps up, it's going to have its place. At least amongst us, amongst Black folk, about quality, impactful, legendary shows.
And I love that we had somebody write us from Ireland, because I'm like, do they even know they have a fan base out there in Ireland? Like, do they know?
Worldwide.
Like,
Power is worldwide.
Twitter be locked in every week. So that's what I love about it too, is it's brought people together on that platform. Like, we all speak together. We all go through the emotions together. Like, do you remember when the hashtag Who Shot Ghost first came out?
Yes.
That shit broke my feed. Like, I couldn't even see everything. So they've really done a good job of capturing the culture and keeping up with it. So I'm proud of everything they're building. I'm glad to keep watching, for real.
100%. And we're glad to keep doing the podcast. So what happens next? This summer, I believe, is Raising Kanan.
Yeah.
Book 4, I don't think it's dropping until 2022. So what's probably the lineup is probably going to be Kanan, then season 2 of Ghost, then season 1 of Force.
Yep.
So in between that, we're still going to be around. We're probably not going to be, we're not going to be weekly because there isn't any show weekly to do, but we're going to expand. We're probably going to do a lot of stuff, any stuff that we do on YouTube. You let us know too. Hit us up on social, hit us up on Twitter or on Instagram in the DMs at Power After Hours. Let us know what you want to see. We're going to be putting out a lot of stuff on YouTube, or visual stuff that we do. The feed, if we get different type of content, may go on the podcast feed, maybe on YouTube, only YouTube exclusive. We're still we're gonna iron that out, but the plan is we gotta at least have something monthly to do.
Yeah.
Until Raising Kanan starts. So that's what I'd like to see. If you want some of the actors on the show, hit them up and tell them to come on Power After Hours, and we'll do the same. Like let your favorites know that you want to hear them on your favorite podcast, and we can make it happen. That's how we had fun with Shane.
We had fun. Shane was a cool ass interview. So
yeah. And we're the fans, so we're gonna ask the questions you want to hear. We're gonna do all of that. So we're gonna make things happen. We're gonna make a lot of things happen on that side. So anything else from you, Miss Krissy?
Nah, man. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm really happy this show continued through the holidays. Thankfully, we had holidays on Fridays, and they were able to, because I did not want this to get drawn out any longer than it needed to be. So Happy New Year to everybody.
Right. And Happy New Year. Definitely 100% Happy New Year. And I stand finishing a show and not stretching it out over 6 months.
Bruh,
you know what I mean? But
positive vibes, good energy. Like we going into the next phase of our podcast. Thank y'all for listening. We always appreciate it. Like just all the emails y'all sent. We know you lit just like we are.
Word.
So keep them coming. We love hearing what y'all have to say.
Where can they find you on social?
I mean, you can find me everywhere at Krissy Bree, because that's how I like to keep things, across the board. But what about you, Jeff?
Mm-hmm. You can find me, Jeff Chase Says, on all social media. And you can also find Power After Hours once again at Power After Hours, Instagram, Twitter, Power After Hours on YouTube. And what I really want is for all of y'all to subscribe to the YouTube channel, get our YouTube numbers up, consume the content. We're going to have stuff that's only going to post on YouTube, so it's not going to be on the feed. So you need to be there too. And we're going to have the socials rocking. If it's one thing we're going to do is keep the socials ablaze with power stuff going on, various things. So definitely do that for us. Also, if you listen to this podcast and you're not subscribed to it on wherever you get podcasts, be sure to subscribe. Nonstopculture.com/power has every type of feed you can subscribe to. We're literally on every platform you can think of. And if you need help, definitely hit us up. And we'll help you out. So I want to make sure everybody gets it, because a lot of times when we post this, if you're subscribed, you'll get it before everybody else finds out. So definitely do that. Definitely subscribe to everything that we have. Follow us everywhere. And thank you for rocking with us on season 1 of Ghost. I hope you had a great time just as much as we had. And you're going to be seeing our faces and hearing our voices throughout the year. So this is a see you later until the next time we post. So
yay.
Y'all have a great start to your 2021. And we're going to talk to you soon.
Peace.
I want you to sing it with me. They say this is a big rich town. Yeah. I just come from the poorest part. Right, like city, like I gotta make it. This is where it goes.